Hey guys, Miss Heberling here. I'm going to be going over chapter 9 with you today. Chapter 9 takes a little bit of a turn, and we get into the more serious aspects, not just kind of the make-believe fun and the coming-of-age stuff that we've talked about with Jim and Dill and Scout, but we start talking about the Tom Robinson case. Now, Tom Robinson is a black man that is being accused by Mayella Ewell, who is a white young woman, of that Mayella was attacked by Tom. Okay? It didn't happen, and we'll figure out throughout the story what actually happened. But he's being accused by this white woman, and people believe her over him because she's white and he is black. The N word is used a lot in here by white people as a derogatory term towards the black community, and it's hard to read. I will never say it on here, so just so you know. But it's hard. It's hard to experience this because we know how much of a derogatory term it is being used within this story. So Scout also does not like her dad to be called derogatory terms about enjoying and liking and defending the black community. So we have Murphy's coming up to hang with us. So we have this kind of tug and pull between the community and also Tom Robinson. Oh, thanks. And Atticus is kind of stuck in the middle. And what makes Atticus one of the best characters in all of literature to me is that he sticks to his beliefs. He sticks to his core values that all people matter and that color does not matter. And for that reason, he takes the Tom Robinson case. He knows he's going to lose. He knows that the community is going to rake Tom over the coals just because he's black and Mayella's white. But he takes it anyways. And this is Jim is talking with his dad, and Scout's talking with her dad about the case. And I love what he says to his kids about why he took this case. So it says, if you shouldn't be defending him, then why are you doing it? For a number of reasons, Atticus said. The main one is if I couldn't hold up my head in town, I couldn't represent this county in the legislature, and I couldn't tell you or Jim not to do something again. You mean if you didn't defend that man, Jim and me wouldn't have to mind you anymore? That's about right. Why? Because I could never ask you to mind me again. Scout, simply by the nature of work, every lawyer gets at least one case in his lifetime that affects him personally. This one's mine. I guess you might hear some ugly talk about it in school, but do one thing for me if you will. Just hold your head high and keep those fists down, and no matter what anybody says to you, don't let them get your goat. Try fighting with your head for a change. It's a good one, even if it does resist learning. Atticus, we aren't going to win it? No, honey. Then why? Simply because we are licked by 100 years before it started. Simply because we were licked 100 years before it started, and there is no reason for us to try to win. So, what he's saying here is that Maycomb is racist. The town is racist and will believe a white person over a black person any day, and he knows he's going to lose this case. But he tells Jim and Scout that he could not live with himself and could not call himself a lawyer and could not be a dad even, and asks them to do the right thing if he did not take this case and do the right thing by defending Tom Robinson, which makes him an amazing man because it's really hard to go against what society is saying, um, to do the right thing. Sometimes that's hard to do, and he stood up to this. So this kind of chapter is a little bit long, and at the end of the chapter, it's Christmas time, and we meet Uncle Jack, who is Atticus's younger brother, and we meet Aunt Alexandra and Frances. Aunt Alexandra is Atticus's sister, and Frances is their cousin. Now, Francis, to put it nicely, is a turd. Okay, he's just he calls people out. He says mean things. He tries to get everybody upset, and then he snitches and then dips out. Okay, he's just one of those kids. So first of all, he calls out Dill for being unwanted. He makes fun of Dill to Jim and Scout and says that he's unwanted. That's why he gets shipped to Maycomb every summer. Uh, and he also calls Atticus a bad name for defending Tom Robinson, for defending a black man. And Scout's had about enough, and so she basically tells him to shove it, and then she gets in trouble for using bad language. And Uncle Jack learns a very good lesson here about listening to kids. Just because Scout is a child, it doesn't mean that he just needs to shut her up and use his fists to win arguments with her. He needs to talk and listen, and Atticus teaches him this valuable lesson at the end of this chapter. So, chapter 9, we're taking that shift.